Hi, my name is Pam Lippett, and this is my opportunity to invite you to my new podcast called Communication is an Art. It's part of my business, the Hill Street Group, where my overall theme is connect, communicate, and succeed. So, why did I call my new podcast Communication is an Art? And I'm rebranding other things to that as well, because I know that communication takes practice, just like any other art. I'm a knitter, I'm a beater, I'm a frustrated artist. I'm much more than a crafter. Anyone can tell you that. But I also know that the first time you do something, it is never going to turn out as well as the fifth time or 10th time you do something. And I think the same thing about communication. You have to prepare and practice to really get the message you want across. And so I'm inviting you to come along on this journey where some of my episodes will just be me, and most of my episodes, in fact, will be interviewing different people in the communication space from all different sides, whether they're using communications in marketing or in HR or in the business world or the nonprofit world, all different aspects of how you get your voice across to other people. In fact, I even recorded one of my episodes with someone who uses acting techniques and ideas to make communication better. So I hope you're in this with me for the long run. I'm going to be dropping episodes once a week. I'm not sure what day yet, but I'll tell you as we go along. I will tell you that I like to speak comfortably and communicate like things are a conversation. I never speak from a written script, and that makes me a lot different than a lot of the podcasters out there. I take and have a pre-interview with the people I record with, but it's just a question and answer conversation to know where the podcast is going to start. Neither of us ever know where it's going to end up and where it's going to go. So, different things that I'll be talking about is helping people to also become better communicators, to have a better way to introduce themselves, to have better ways to network. That's one of my key things is I have figured out, at least for me, what makes networking happy and what makes it doable and what makes me succeed. And I often help people figure out how to make their networking succeed. I often say that bringing home a pile of business cards is not going to do anyone any good, but bringing home 3 or 4 great leads can change the course of someone's career. And so over the years, I have developed different techniques to make sure that we're all on the same page and we all get the same things out of conversations. There's a study that says only 29% of conversations end when both people want them to end. That to me is a horrible thing. And my goal is for the people I work with to get that number way up, to know what the other person's saying, to interact, to figure it out together, and to move to next steps together. That's what makes networking work, as opposed to networking be a place to get a drink and an appetizer and go home thinking I've just wasted another hour and a half in terms of the time I could otherwise be with my family, with my friends, home, not during traffic. There's a lot of things we put into it more than we think about when we choose to go to a networking event, especially one that's after work. So take these spins with me. That's going to be the first thing that I'm going to talk about in this podcast after the little music plays. But I want you to subscribe, to come along on the journey, to know what it's like to have a comfortable conversation with someone that you may have never met before, or certainly not met in person. There are ways to do that. So I'm very grateful for you to watching this first introduction and getting kind of whetting your appetite for moving forward with me and learning as we go. So I welcome you. I welcome questions. I welcome the opportunity to chat with you. All that's going to be in the bio and the paragraphs below where you find the podcast. And let's make this something that we work on together. I'm happy to take questions and answer them at the beginning of following podcasts so you don't have to wait too long. Those are the goals. Those are the interactions that I'm always looking for. So subscribe so you learn when I'm dropping more podcasts. And I promise you, along the way, we're always going to have a few laughs, because if we don't, I haven't succeeded. I love to be a little irreverent, and I love to ask questions that are not the normal who, what, where, why, and when questions. I like to really dig deep, to listen to what people are saying and follow up on those. To me, that is so much more important than having a list of questions that I just have to plow through. This is a conversation. So welcome to the conversation, because communication is an art. Thank you, and see you on the other side of the music.